Judd and Dubé after another award-winning Vikings vet line, Jeffrey. Vikings lose 41-20 today to Seattle. They fall to 2-8 on the season. They are a terrible football team. I don't have the stats in front of me right now, and it doesn't matter. Here's what I can tell you. If Christian Ponder ever plays another down for the Vikings again, somebody should be fired. Haven't we seen enough? Make it stop. For his sake.
Yeah.
For his sake.
The indignity of it all. It's just, today was an embarrassment for everybody involved. We saw a 5-minute stretch that it might have encapsulated just the worst quarterbacking that we've ever seen. It was embarrassing. It was, the interceptions, just simple passes that you can't possibly not see the linebacker in the middle. You can't possibly not see the corner squatting on that route to Patterson. If you're a National Football League quarterback, these are elementary things. They're self-evident moments where if you can't see that, if you can't avoid that, then you can't play in this league. Christian Ponder can't play in this league.
It was a terrible performance by the Vikings in the second half. The first half actually wasn't that bad, given the fact that the Seattle Seahawks, who have a bye next week, clearly thought or were confused a little bit and thought they had two byes, because the way they played in the first half was a complete joke. What got them sparked, of course, was Percy Harvin's big return of a kickoff late in the first half. Harvin takes it back. The Seahawks eventually score a touchdown, and from there, the momentum starts to roll. And anybody, Jeff, that thought Percy Harvin wasn't going to have an impact on today's game was sadly mistaken, because Percy Harvin was going to be damned if he wasn't going to impact that game.
How about the leaping one-handed catch he made, too? He's a fantastic football player. There's no doubt about it. But let's not forget that the Vikings got a first, a second, and a first, second, seventh? Yes,
a third, too.
So they got four players and a first and second, and they got him for a player who just played one game. He's contributed one game to their effort. So,
that trade is not the Vikings' problem. The Vikings' problem is that this team is awful.
Yeah.
They have, as far as I can tell, no quarterback right now. Hopefully Josh Freeman plays the last 6 games, because let's just see what he can do.
And he might be awful, but what's the harm at this point?
The offensive line is a complete mess. The defensive line got old fast, and I don't know what happened there. The linebackers continue to be a complete mess, and the secondary also a mess.
There's leaks everywhere.
That's the problem is, where do you even start with this team? I think we both talked about it on Vet Line. You got to start with quarterback.
You have to.
But the issues with this team are so widespread right now. There is no reason, by the way, not to get a look at the young players for the rest of the season. If they continue to play the same personnel and try and win games, they're idiots.
Well, here's the problem.
Why bother?
Well, if you're Leslie Frazier, he would think, why bother looking at people for next year if I'm not going to be here next year? So what good does it do him? What good does it do Leslie Frazier to take a look at somebody?
Those guys he got now aren't going to win for him.
Well, I guess all he can do is play the guys that are in the best interest of the franchise, knowing that he could go to his next job interview and say, look, I did the right thing. I was a company guy, and I played the guys who they needed to take a look at. Because it's not going to do him any good to find out if Josh Freeman can play, because he's not. He's not
going to coach Josh Freeman.
No.
Well, do you think in your heart of hearts right now, do you think Josh Freeman is looking at this and saying, I want to stay here?
No, but I don't think he's a franchise quarterback.
So it might not matter.
No, I don't
care. But then, as we've talked about on Vent Line, too, the quarterbacks coming out in this draft, you're going to have a high pick. If you're going to take one of those quarterbacks, you can't miss on one of those.
No,
you can't have another Ponder. Oh, whoops, we didn't get on.
Yep.
So who's going to draft the quarterback? Are you going to let Rick Spielman take another swing and a miss maybe at a quarterback? Or are you going to bring in someone else to take that
I hope not.
quarterback? What are you going to do there? Because you can't take Johnny Manziel and say, we really liked him, and oh, by the way, he didn't work out.
I want them all gone. I want house cleaned, but do we trust the Wilfs to overhaul an entire front office and coaching staff in such a crucial offseason? I don't know if they've got the football acumen to pull it off. Maybe they shouldn't. Maybe that would be too much in one offseason for them to handle.
But then do you trust Rick Spielman to draft your next quarterback?
What choice do you have?
Because
you have to.
That's what I'm saying.
You have no choice.
But if you swing and a miss on that. By the way, real interesting note from today's game. This might be the first time this has happened since 2008. Adrian Peterson's taken in 2007, and he rotates with Chester Taylor that season. So it might have happened in 07 a few times. But today, Toby Gerhardt had more rushing yards than Adrian Peterson, and Adrian Peterson was healthy the whole game. You name me the last time since 2008 when Adrian really took over as the complete star of this team, the primary running back, that he has been outrushed by a teammate when he's been healthy the whole game.
I don't have the answer to that. I'm just going to guess it's never happened. My guess is never.
But that's the state of the Vikings in 2014.
It is. It absolutely
or 13,
is.
2014.
Yeah.
Hopefully 2014 will be a big improvement. The other sad thing is this division's awful.
Yeah. Detroit, it was there for the taking for anybody.
Detroit blew a game in Pittsburgh today.
Which we knew they would. Did we not say that Schwartz will be Schwartz and F the whole thing up?
Yes.
I should have even said that.
Yeah, no.
I've gone too far.
Chicago won. correct, in overtime.
They did in a
Chicago won in OT.
bizarre set of circumstances.
But then Green Bay, which is 5-5
Yeah,
now,
it's just-
they lost
it's gotten away from
to
them.
the Giants.
And Tolzien looked awful.
And as you said on Ventline, there's no guarantee that Green Bay, depending on when
They
Aaron
need
Rodgers
Rodgers
comes
back fast.
this division is so mediocre, it's not even
Yeah,
funny.
I tell you what, it's a good thing for them, and I don't know that this guy's going to be the answer, but it's a good thing for them that they got Flynn and that they got him into the system and got a week under his belt, because you can't start Scott Tolzien again. Not if you want to be a playoff.
And Flynn's hurt.
Can't do it.
And Flynn's
Can't
hurt.
do it. Yeah.
The Packers, this division is so there for the taking right
is.
now, and
It
yet
is.
the Minnesota Vikings sit there 2-8. All right, that's it for us. Another edition of a post-Ventline Vikings video, 1500ESPN.com. Judd and Dubé, don't forget, we are on 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. each and every weekday on 1500 ESPN. Vikings Ventline immediately follows Vikings, shall I say, losses,
Yeah,
because
seriously.
there's no reason to say it follows Vikings wins. I don't see many coming.
Nope.
Perhaps the Green Bay game can be competitive. That's it for us. Thanks for coming to 1500ESPN.com and watching another video.